Hello, and good morning to you all. Welcome back to Nat Scraps. My name is Natalie Koenig. I am a crafter, a paper crafter, and I am here today with the third layout created with the Hello Darling collection from Uniquely Creative. If you haven't seen the other ones, pop back and see them. There's a couple of videos. There's one that shows all of the layouts that I created with this particular collection, and then there's also a video for layout 2, possibly a video for layout 1. I lost the footage, so there may be just like a mock-up video of that one, and there'll be videos following for the other 6 layouts that I've created. So if you are new here, I am an Australian crafter who creates with lots of companies from Australia. Uniquely Creative is one of them, and I try to share what I do to help inspire other people to get into their stash and create with it. We don't want to hoard our stuff, we want to use it. With this one, I used the 12 by 12 collection plus the Creative Cards, and I do go through that in the first layout haul video. You'll see here that this layout starts in a completely different direction from where it ends up. I cut apart that 12 by 12 sheet that has all the little bits and pieces in it, and I'm thinking of layering to start off with, and then I start popping things down the page, and this goes where it would naturally go. So when you've got lots of little blocks, you kind of end up in that quilt kind of collection, like that, you know, patchworked kind of area, and that's where this one went. And I tried not to. You can see I had these layers in there to start off with, but quickly they're dissolving away to having all these little bits and pieces. So now I'm going to go through and I'm trying to pull different pieces and trying to figure out, you know, am I having a banner at the top? What am I doing? And trying to figure it out. Now, if you haven't seen my videos before, this is pretty much how I work. I'm pretty much just like piece things together. Like, I don't have a plan when I start quite often. I just know that I'm going to be creating with a collection or a set of papers, and I go from there. I don't have something in mind. Well, sometimes I might have a little idea of what I have in mind, but I'm not planning out my layouts. These just come together however they are. And I absolutely love watching those people that will talk along with you and talk through their thought process as they're actually doing it, not doing a voiceover later. But to be honest, I stop and start so often, and when I'm really in the zone, I don't even talk at all. Like I every now and then I try to do that, but I find I don't verbalize sometimes what I'm thinking, and you'll get big long bits of silence. But I do attempt to do those every now and then. Here I've got that first page kind of half figured out. Like I'm like, yeah, I like that. And there's like little stampy kind of elements in some of those creative cuts, and I've added those in, and I like that. And now I just want some pieces that are not fully covering the square to add. So my mind process is I don't want it all in the blocks, and that teddy was perfect for that because his little balloon came out the top, so it seeped over the edges of the block, and that's what I wanted. So, and around about now I'm like, well, I've got sort of one page kind of sorted, and I kind of like this feeling. I am wondering if I've got too much space at the top and the bottom, and you can see me kind of trial a few different things here, but very shortly you'll see me adapt this into a second page. So I'm kind of sitting there getting myself together, and in a moment, come on Nat, get up to speed, come on, move it along. Here I'm just cutting some strips from the top and the bottom. So in that same checker that I cut a strip, cut little squares, I'm cutting a strip from the top and the bottom. And this is going to just even out the page and fill up a little bit of that space. But then in a second, you're going to see me bring in a new mat, and I'm going to add a second page. So I'm just checking underneath which paper I've used here. Make sure I've got a second piece of this green paper, which I thankfully do when I ruffle through, and then bringing in the mat. See, I finally got there. I could have cut like 15 minutes out of that section, couldn't I? Such is life. So here you see me scooting everything over. I'll find the exact same piece of green paper, bring that in, and then start working on the blocks from the other page. Now, the one thing that I come up with an issue here is that I only have so many of those blocks, and I will run a little bit short. There is a piece of paper, it's meant as a cutout piece of paper, and it's got loads of flowers that you could cut apart on one side of it. I do end up bringing that in and using that for just, I think maybe 4 or 5 blocks over the 2 pages. And I just randomly cut the 2-inch blocks, because that's what size these other little pre-printed blocks are. And that worked perfect to have just a splash of colour. So it did 2 things. It gave me some bonus blocks on the page, and it added just a little bit of pink. And you'll see it in here, that just a bit of pink and just a little bit of brightness, which really helped with the layout, because it was a little bit all tan before that. So 2 birds, 1 stone, excellent. And bringing in those kind of more rectangular pieces too, just so that it's the same as the other side. You'll see me looking through trying to find one more, and when I do find that, perfect, moving them about. Now, I do take out a huge chunk of me gluing and me sticking all this together, as well as in a moment, what you're going to see is me come in and hand stitch around each of those elements. Now, if you're a sewer, grab that sewing machine out, sew these on by all means. I'm not a sewer. I don't use a sewing machine in any of my paper crafts. I don't actually own a sewing machine, so that's not something that I do, but I do take the time to hand stitch, like draw hand stitching around each of the elements. Now, I do what I call a dash and 3 dots. So I do dash dot dot dot, dash dot 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 around the outside edge. Now, I happen to have like this marker. It's meant to be brown, but it actually is more of like a grey tone. It's got a slight metallic to it. It's very old. It's from my stash from years ago. And that's the color, because I thought black might be just a little bit harsh on this layout, and that's the one. So if you've got, you know, I looked at using a bronze metallic, which would have worked fine. I could have used a gold if I really wanted to. I thought gold was a little bit too bright, and this brown worked really well. But whatever you got in your stash, don't go, you know, looking for a brown metallic marker by any means. Just, you'll have something in your stash. And here you can see where I'm doing that little bit of stitching. And this just grounds absolutely everything in the layout. The other thing I do is I blend the edges of all the different elements on these pages, which helps to bring everything together and make it all cohesive. But you guys do want to sit here. This actually took quite a while. It probably took me half an hour or something. And I just popped on a YouTube clip of one of you lovely ladies creating and all that jazz, and just sat there and did it. Now, on the photo mats, I did cut my photo mats down by 1/4 of an inch on either side. So my 4x4 is now a 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and I layered that up onto the original size photo mat and stitched and blended around that. That just kept it cohesive with the rest of the page, with the stitching and things. So when I come to put photos on this page, I will cut them down. And this is the most sped up version of gluing you'll ever see. I left it in, but it's sped up to like 2,000 times. Like it's just, I didn't want you guys to sit through how long it took to glue all that together. The other couple of things that are on the page is just a couple of little word sentiments. And I absolutely adore this. May be my favorite or second favorite layout of the whole lot that I did. I'd love to know if you like this layout, which this is one of your favorites, or you have another favorite, because yeah, let me know. It's always interesting. Pop a comment and things like that below, and let so I can know what you're thinking about these layouts. Let me know if you have this uniquely creative collection, and whether you're planning to do baby layouts or whether you're going to do just generic layouts. Now, there is a couple of layouts in this group of layouts that are not baby related. So if you've got this and you go, well, I don't have any babies in my life, I'm not going to create with babies, there's other ways to use these layouts. And the other thing is, if you've got a boy, there's a boy collection of creative cuts, so you can just intermingle the boy creative cuts instead of having the girl ones there. Now, as a border around the outside edge, because I just have this thing that pages need borders, I've just done a messy squiggle line, double squiggle messy line. Now, my thought process there is everything else on the page is really, really straight. So just to throw a little difference in, then having the messy border works for me. It might not work for you. You might want a straight border, but for me, it works. And really, the one thing about messy borders is if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've got a couple of still photos coming up. Consider hitting the like button, consider leaving me a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel. It all helps in the end. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. Get crafting. Bye.